What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope everyone's doing well today and I hope you enjoyed today's video. We're going to dive into a variety of digital assets in this one and some recent news, starting off with the company Ripple. First up, the Digital Monetary Institute, or the DMI Symposium. We can see the Director of National Payment Systems at the Bank of Tanzania will be speaking at the launch of their Future of Payments Report 2023, developed in partnership with the company Ripple. Now what is this DMI Symposium of OMFIF? OMFIF is absolutely massive, a think tank for central banking, economic policy, and public investment, and we can see, with investable assets of $43 trillion at the heart of this network. We also know that Ripple, the company right here, is a partner of the OMFIF DMI Symposium, connected to regulatory authorities and central banks in a variety of countries. Additional themes include crypto assets and stablecoins, cross-border payments, DLT and banking, and tokenization of capital markets, the big money. So we have SNB, the Swiss National Bank. Remember, that was the big closed-door meeting with Brad Garlinghouse and the International Monetary Fund years ago. We have the International Monetary Fund, we have the SEC, we have the Saudi Central Bank, the Bank for International Settlements, Bank of France, and of course Ripple. And the list goes on and on. So we have Kristalina here, the head of the International Monetary Fund, highlighting that carbon pricing is a promising tool in the fight against climate change. This is a narrative. If this narrative is widely adopted on DLT, there's going to be a bunch of transactions from this alone. So we have Anders just highlighting the head of the IMF pretty much tells us how important carbon credits will be in the future. There are a variety of digital assets already working on these systems, including Hedera, the XRP ledger, and many more. Anders says it's important to remember news like this. There's a global agenda around the environment, whether people like it or not, and the XRP ledger is directly involved as a solution. And just remember Zeng, we've gone over them a bunch, a sustainably run securities exchange operated in partnership with the United Nations. And a while back, they announced that it will develop a carbon credit solution on the carbon neutral XRP ledger. Next up for Medico, this is the Switzerland-based custodian that Ripple owns 100% of. Crypto custody in this type of infrastructure is absolutely necessary to have in place before we can even talk about enterprise adoption at scale. And if you go to Medico's website, like we've done before, you can go through their blogs, read through all of their partnerships. You can see specific examples of crypto trading desks. So they expanded their partnership with BBVA, so BBVA Switzerland, to embark on a new stage in its crypto strategy, characterized by the highest standards in security and operational agility. We have Medico, of course, already partnered with IBM, but now to help build the HyperProtect offline signing orchestrator, a new technology to deploy cold storage for digital assets, which addresses the requirement of top-tier banks and financial institutions. This is huge. So this offline signing orchestrator, we're just going to call it OSO or OSO, designed to address limitations of current cold storage offerings for digital assets, including the need for people to perform manual procedures for the execution of a cold storage transaction. It helps protect high-value transactions, and a lot of these high-value transactions are going to be taking place on a public chain, and we'll cover that in this video. So it helps protect high-value transactions by offering additional security layers, including disconnected network operations, time-based security, and electronic transaction approval by multiple stakeholders. So for Medico specifically, they're going to be supporting the majority of top digital assets. Of course, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, but we've also seen transactions of Medico with HBAR. So it's not just for one digital asset. This is about including the entire crypto asset class and top performing, highly liquid assets that these enterprises or institutions are going to leverage. And this reminds me of different funds and exchange traded products, such as this one on 21shares.com, based in Switzerland, for XRP specifically, over $50 million in assets under management. And this is 100% backed by XRP. Notice they call it Ripples because that's what XRP used to be called years ago. Even Kraken still calls it Ripple on the exchange. So there's a lot of exchanges and organizations that still call XRP the digital asset or the native asset of the XRPL Ripples. We can see a strategic partnership with Zodia Custody, the leading digital asset custodian backed by, we have Standard Chartered, we have Northern Trust, a variety of groups, even including SBI Digital Asset Holdings. So Zodia Custody is integrated with Medico, the Ripple-owned provider of digital asset infrastructure technology, to create a global network for institutions, enabling institutions to access Zodia Custody's bank-grade custody solutions through Medico. Custody, security, and storage is a big deal. Escrow functions, how payments are actually transacted, all of this has to be considered for actual enterprise adoption and utility. And this infrastructure is necessary for even institutional investors to just hold digital assets as an investment. Next up, we're going to play an important clip highlighting public networks, hybrid networks, and private networks, each having their own benefits. In this clip, the CTO of Casper Labs, Meta Parlikar, dives into the public, private, and hybrid blockchain solutions.
So one of the questions we hear from enterprise a lot is which kind of blockchain deployment is best for us? And it really breaks down into three categories, right? You have the public deployments. Those are really terrific for high value assets. For example, like the title to a home, right? That information is already in the public domain. So you're not really giving up any privacy when you put that information on a public blockchain. When you talk about a private blockchain, it's really good for information that is important to the competitive nature of your business. For example, customer data or medical data that may be regulated by HIPAA in the United States, as an example. And the last one is a hybrid blockchain solution where you may want to have transactional data stored on a private blockchain. So maybe the information about your customers, the terms of sale, as an example, how they agreed, be it by a lease or a purchase offering. All of that information can be backed by the security and the guarantees of a private blockchain. But then the actual asset transfer, which could be very high value, would take place on a public blockchain.
So just emphasizing for anybody new that public networks absolutely have a place in the future of finance, all these other industry verticals, and just DLT adoption. A lot of enterprise adoption with DLT started off with private instances with a variety of organizations such as Walmart with Hyperledger Fabric, which is permissioned and private. But now we're seeing Hyperledger Fabric, Sawtooth, different things leverage public networks as well, and the future is going to be hybrid because there are pros and cons and you can get the best out of both worlds in this scenario. For example, if you look at CSPR.live, Casper's Block Explorer, you go between the mainnet and the testnet, you'll see some WASM deploys or smart contract deployments and they're hashed. Any public transactions that are actually hashed go back to the private chain and they have different, reference numbers or way to connect those. So that means for compliance or healthcare, patient records, sensitive information that is stored on the private chain and the public chain just has a reference. So I just made this poll on Twitter, what price does Bitcoin hit next? And this is important for alts to see the highest rate of return. It is during a bull run as Bitcoin is pushing to an all-time high price. So I said 20,000 or 60,000. The only thing that concerns me here is that almost 70% of people think 60,000 is hit next. And this is based off of the open CME gap still open on the daily time frame looking at this ticker BTC1 ! Around 20,000. We can see poking up into this fair value gap right now, but we have the largest sell side imbalance for Bitcoin at 60,000. So this is the same thing we've been discussing all year with Bitcoin halvings typically seeing a retracement to the 50% or 618 before the Bitcoin halving, and we just got that again up to the 50%. Are we going to follow something similar to Bitcoin in 2016 on the way up to an all-time high? Or are we going to be following the 2019 retracement before one more crash down to the lows? Let me know what you guys think. The previous two cycles both retraced to the 618 at the very least before the Bitcoin halving. I also want to play this quick clip shared by Generation Infinity highlighting Aberdeen. So if you guys have seen the video I did covering Aberdeen, you can type in kevincage Aberdeen, which is ABRDN Hedera, and you'll see the gentleman from Aberdeen saying they've already tokenized $20 billion of their funds this year in 2023. So they have a variety of money market funds and their total assets under management is over $600 billion. Now listen to this quick clip of Hedera Hashgraph's SVP of Communications. Because we talk about stats like BCG estimating that $16 trillion will be tokenized by 2030 of global illiquid assets, and this is actually taking place today.
We are seeing interest from traditional financial services firms. So one of our governing council members is Aberdeen, which manages billions of dollars in assets based out of the UK. They are doing tokenization of their funds. So you think of a traditional mutual fund, they are trying to bring some of that clarity and some of that accountability and transparency to those kinds of funds. And there is an interesting I think typically you have sort of seen people say, okay, well, crypto is an asset class and I'm going to think about it separately. They are thinking about tokenization in terms of ways that you could sort of leverage your some of your crypto to potentially, park money overnight in tokenized money market funds.
So I think this is absolutely massive. If you watch the interview of the gentleman from Aberdeen answering questions, talking about different chains, you can understand why Aberdeen is leveraging Hedera. We know the XRP Ledger Grants program just supported some more money and funding for projects on the XRPL. And I just got an email that the Casper wallet public beta is open if you want to sign up for that, or if you're curious and just test it out. You can just create a new wallet and test out the features, and you can learn more at casperwallet.io. Again, I'm not paid by these crypto companies to talk about XRP, HBAR, Casper. I'm interested in utility assets building in this asset class. And this app should launch both in the Apple App Store and the Android App Store at the same time. You can go through the audits and look at this wallet. We did a deep dive video. You can type in kevincage Casper wallet or Casper staking to get a deep dive. And the native in-app staking should be live by the end of Q1, which will be super nice, just connecting and staking automatically right from your phone. And 2 days ago, the Casper wallet finally got approved by Apple. So we have a great post by Tokenizer here highlighting IBM and just overall artificial intelligence. We have Meta and IBM just co-launched an AI alliance with 50 other founding members. We have Dell Technologies sitting on Hedera's governing council. We have CERN. We have the Linux Foundation, where Casper also is one of the very few projects on the Linux Foundation, as well as the Hyperledger Foundation. We have Red Hat. We have ServiceNow, a Hedera partner that we've covered. And if you hold Casper and you watch that full webinar of IBM and Casper Labs presenting together with Watson X, IBM's AI and data platform using Casper Network specifically for versioning to serve as AI governance. And that solution is called Brave.ai. We have shared by XP Network. Hedera is a good example of how XP Network breaks down barriers between networks. We were the first to make NFT transfers from and to this non-EVM ledger possible, and 10 plus projects have already used this opportunity. So you can see the full case study here, Hedera connecting the only hashgraph DLT to 30 plus blockchains. And earlier this year, Casper Network was highlighted by XP Network as well. The XP Network NFT bridge will integrate Casper, making it easier for enterprises to optimize multiple aspects of their business through a public, private, or hybrid model or deployment. So XP Network has done work with several chains, including Casper, Hedera, VeChain, etc. And remember Hedera's latest governing council member, EDF Official, a huge energy provider in the UK and France. This proof of concept is due to Hedera's scalability, enterprise focus, and carbon negative status. This EDF Official, Hedera's enabled proof of concept aiming to revolutionize the $19 billion renewable energy certificate market. We have Good Morning Crypto highlighting the approval in 31 US states for a money transfer license for the company Ripple. You can see this directly on their website. Great to see. We got news that Team Finance now supports Casper Network, so you can mint tokens, lock liquidity, and create vesting schedules on Casper without code. So pretty cool. You can learn more at casper.team.finance. We can see almost $500 million in total value locked. So with this platform, you can secure and automate your project, minting, token locks, investing. And last but not least, I wanted to highlight this Twitter handle to keep an eye on. It is @DeFi. So they now own the Twitter handle DeFi, a really cool free platform that I wish we had during the previous bull runs. DeFi has developed the most advanced revoking tool that will analyze your entire portfolio or your MetaMask wallet and notify you about any malicious contracts approved. So they own D.Fi, but look at DeFi.com for sale for $58 million. Wow. So this platform so far, $25 billion in total value locked tracked, over 74,000 contracts tracked. A bunch of investors, even angels from Coinbase right there. We have former Binance chain director, Paraswap, Polygon, Synthetics, a lot of big organizations. And exchange investors including Mexi, Huobi or Wobi, OKX, etc. I imagine that when this project actually gets listed, it's going to be listed on all of these exchanges out the gate. And judging by the backers, I most likely see an exchange listing on Coinbase and Binance as well. If I had to guess their price action of the DeFi token they're launching, likely in January or early 2024, I think it's going to be probably like a big pump and dump, kind of like we saw for Aptos. But the cool thing about this is you can go to the scanner and you can copy any contract address or even your wallet and type it in and actually look at it. So we put in API 3's, their contract address that you can get right off CoinMarketCap, and you can see their DeFi score 100 out of 100, which is good. So whenever you're looking at assets, especially ERC20s for now as they add more networks, make sure you check the DeFi score. Make sure you're not buying something that could be malicious. So before connecting any wallet or your MetaMask to any website you're not 100% sure of, you should just check it in the scanner. For example, we can see QNT on CoinMarketCap. This is an ERC20, even though it's built to be agnostic. We're going to copy that contract address. We'll go to the scanner up here and we're going to paste that contract address. We can see standard token QNT and check in the DeFi score. And it got a perfect 100%, which is great. No risk detected, but just beware of any contracts that you see that might have low risk, medium risk, or high risk. But alright guys, thanks so much for watching, and huge thanks to all that hit the like button. I hope you enjoyed this video, and there's more on the way. All links are in the YouTube video description, and I'll catch you in the next one.